Thinking about leaving your soul-sucking 9 to 5 job, one of the biggest struggles I see people, especially as women, face is the idea of having that safety net, that enticing perks and benefits, and listening to that head trash of what will people think if I leave. I totally get it, and I've been where you are. That's why I created a free guide to help you if you're thinking about putting in that notice. It's called Unlocking Your Exit Plan. Discover 5 things you need to do before leaving your 9 to 5. This guide is filled with worksheets and steps so you will have hand holding along the way. You can download your copy in the link in the show notes, and again, it's totally free. Now back to today's episode. Hey there, let's face it, today's internet world is so saturated and everyone is fighting for that number one spot to be visible. It is no longer about running ads and having thousands of people on your email list. It is about building relationships and networking with others to grow your business and become visible. Hi, my name is Candace. I'm a podcast launch strategist and I help service-based business owners develop and deliver their message to the world by using platforms like podcasting and bringing valuable content to those who need to hear what they have to say. Welcome to the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast. I'm so excited. I have Cailen here on the podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you on. And everyone, Cailen is actually my first guest back on the podcast after me taking a break. So I'm really excited to just dive into this topic. So let's get things going. So tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Cailen Ascher. I'm a business coach for women who are interested in transitioning from one-to-one coaching or a one-to-one service into a premium group program. This is a transition I personally made about 4 years ago, and I absolutely love serving my group. And I'm really excited to share some tips and strategies about how to make that transition, how to know if you're ready, and just get into it.
Awesome. I cannot wait to dive in. So let's go ahead and just dive right on in. So let's talk about how to know if you are ready to transition from one-on-one coaching to a group coaching program.
Yeah, this is a great question and one I get asked all the time because of my specialty of making that transition. And what I have found is that one-on-one is really a fantastic place to start. If you're brand new in business, if you're fresh out of the gate, I think working one-on-one, getting that high ticket one-to-one offer is absolutely the right place to begin because you don't need to enroll a group into the program. You just need one person to get started. And it's a lot easier when you're brand new to find one person, 2 people, 3 people than thinking about enrolling. Not that I usually teach my clients how to do huge group programs because it's about having that high touch component still. But thinking about enrolling 8, 10, 12 people can be kind of daunting when you're first getting started. And so what I really recommend is that absolutely, if you're brand new, starting out, focus on that one-to-one, let that be enough. Because what I see a lot is we have these, very ambitious women who are starting their businesses and they're saying, I want to make a course. I want to make a membership. I want to have a group coaching program. I'm like, yes, you shall in time. Like, let's get you started with those one-to-one clients. Let's figure out your methodology, who you are as a coach, because things shift and change as you start working with those clients and you get deeper insight into who you are and your processes and all of that. And so I really recommend if you're at a place, you've been one-to-one coaching, offering a one-to-one service for a year or more, and you're feeling like this is not a sustainable business model for you anymore, that you're at a place where even if you're not at capacity yet with your clients, you recognize maybe you don't want to be at capacity. You're like, right now I've got a 5 client load or an 8 client load. That's feeling full. But in order to hit my revenue goals, I have to carry 12 clients or I have to keep raising my prices, which absolutely give yourself a raise. Most women undercharge, but sometimes it just hits a place where we're like, I don't really want to charge more than this. It just doesn't feel in alignment for me, in integrity for me to keep doubling, tripling my prices. And so we're in this tricky space of the only way to increase our revenue with one-to-one is to keep working more and more hours for more and more clients. And that's not the place I wanted to be. I'm a mom of two. When I first started my business, I had one brand new baby. And then soon thereafter, I had another baby. So I had two little ones. And I realized, this one-to-one is draining my energy. It's not the right business model for me. And that just came with knowing myself and being a coach for a few years. And I recognized, hey, this isn't going to take me to where I want to go. It's not the place for me forever. And that was really tough because I'm like, at that point, I had a 6-figure business. My coaching was going really well. It was like a good problem to have. But here I was, I had built this one-to-one coaching business. And here I was like, well, where do I go? I'm kind of backed into a corner here. And so I joined, luck will have it, a mastermind with a mentor I really admired. And I realized the tremendous benefit of being coached in a container with other ambitious women, peers, friends who were really doing amazing big things in their business while being led by this amazing coach. And I had this moment where I was like, you know what? I could do this. I could create a space similar to this where I give these women a curriculum to follow and they move through it together and support one another in the process. And so if you're at that place where you're feeling maxed out, if your revenue has plateaued, if you're feeling frustrated or resentful of your clients or your work, if you're longing for more flexible hours, more white space in your calendar, all of those are signs that maybe leveraging your time and energy in a group fashion and a group program might be a better fit.
What would be your recommendation for someone who actually works 9 to 5 and then does like group coaching every now and then, not group coaching, but do one-on-one client work like every now and again, but doesn't have like a long list of clients? Do you think that group coaching would be the perfect fit for them? Or do you think that maybe one-on-one would be really good? And then when they transition out of their 9 to 5, then switch over to group coaching?
Yeah, what I really see and what I work with are women who are full-time in their businesses, not necessarily working full-time hours. I personally have a 3-day work week, but they don't have another job at that moment in time. And they're able to give their full energy and attention to this business. And so if you're, still working that 9 to 5, that's awesome. I am someone who is a fan of thoughtful and patient transitions so that you don't rip the Band-Aid off and realize you're in a tough situation without a safety net. And so I would suggest keep serving those one-to-one clients and be really curious. Figure out what your methodology is. What is the process that you're moving these one-to-one clients through? Get really specific about who is that ideal client? What exactly are their struggles? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? So that you can define your niche specialty and how you serve them. Because when you create a group program, one of the first things we look at with the women who join our Scale Up program is what is your niche specialty? What is the special solution that you are offering inside this program that is going to magnetize the right people in? And often with our one-to-one coaching, we have this opportunity to be a little more exploratory, where we are a business coach. And then with this client, we go a little more into like mindset and business coaching. And with this one, we do a little more strategic planning and marketing. And we kind of can flex. And that's so important because we need to figure out where we want to land. When you've got that group program, you've got to pick what is that one thing you're going to focus on. And so I think, if you're still working that 9 to 5, if you still got a busy schedule and you're trying to build this business on the side, allow it to be easy and exploratory with those one-on-one clients until you really, really know where you want to be. And then it might be a time to transition.
I know there's a lot of service-based entrepreneurs out there, like who are online business managers, social media managers, and different things like that. And they also do the one-to-one service, not necessarily coaching, but service. Do you recommend for them to transition to one-on-one type of coaching with their clients and then transition over to group coaching? Or is it perfect or ideal for like a service-based entrepreneur to transition from like one-on-one services to the group coaching space?
That's such a fun question. Yeah. So if someone who's providing a done-for-you service, maybe they're a copywriter or a social media manager, or someone who is completing a project for their clients, there's two ways you can go. Some of those women, they're ready to transition to a coach. I have a client right now who started as social media manager, website builder, and then she started coaching women who were starting up their businesses because she had worked with so many. And now she's working on her group program at that step. I've also had people who want to coach inside the group program on their expertise. So they're a copywriter and they're going to teach maybe new business owners how to write amazing copy for their website or how to write an amazing sales funnel so that the women in the program are actually doing the work that the service provider used to do exclusively for their clients. And then often those women still want to have a few one-on-one clients, but then their one-on-one becomes super exclusive, super premium. They just take on those very, very aligned clients that they feel like they want to do that done for you work for. So this is really about figuring out what business you want to have, whether you want to be the copywriter who teaches clients how to write their own copy, or whether you want to be the copywriter who teaches people how to build a copywriting or freelance business, or you want to be the copywriter who, there's so many iterations that you could do. And it's up to you to decide, which can be kind of overwhelming, and why it is so helpful in those moments of transition to have a sisterhood of support, or have a coach, or have a mentor, or a business buddy, someone you can sit down with and kind of have as a sounding board. So you can sometimes just talking it out loud helps you realize, you know what, I don't want to have that kind of business. Like, of course not. As I speak about it and think about the challenges and the things that would come up, those aren't the things I want to be dealing with. I want to be in this space. And so there's no right or wrong way. And we've worked with clients doing it both ways. So I'm glad you asked that question. That was a great one.
So what was the inspiration behind you starting your business? What was it like for you?
Yeah, so I started my coaching business back in 2015, right after the birth of my first daughter. Prior to that, I'd never had a traditional job ever since I graduated college. And for most of my 20s, I was just trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. And it took a while. And there were stops and starts and successes and failures. And ultimately, that gave me a lot of knowledge about what to do and what not to do in the early phases of business. And so I started as what I call the clarity coach. And I was working with women right at the beginning of their journey who just needed to get some clarity about what they were even going to do. What was this business they were going to start? What was the ideal client they were going to work with? What solution were they going to provide? Just those really, really foundational building blocks, because I finally felt at a place where I had landed on that. And so I felt just a couple steps ahead and able to provide that. And so that's when the coaching really started. And since then, there's definitely been evolutions. For a long while, we were serving women who were selling high ticket one-to-one services. And now for the past 4 years, I've had my premium group program. And a couple of years ago, we started coaching more and more women who wanted to do that. And so it's like every time I live an evolution in my own business experience, then and find solid footing there and understand how to make that transition successfully, we often find our clients start asking about how to do that. And so then it feels really authentic and aligned to teach on that. And so right now, our primary focus is helping women with that transition from one-to-one to a group program. And yeah, all of our offerings are all about that, which has been really fun because it's just this wonderful example of how our businesses get to keep evolving and changing as we grow and change.
I love that. I love the freedom of just being able to choose what you want to do. Like if you want to promote yourself, you can promote yourself. I love that flexibility, and you don't have to worry about anyone saying that, well, no, you don't qualify, or no, you're going to do this at this time. That's why I love this whole online entrepreneur coach everything space, because it's like you can actually say when it's time for you to promote yourself, so that's how I look at things. So I really like the work that you're doing. It's really awesome. I love it. Can you remember a time in your business or starting out where you had a hello moment? So like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Can you remember a specific time you had that moment?
Yes, I do. I've actually had a few of them over the years that I can recall, but this one was the moment when I realized I wanted to be in the coaching space. And I remember it very distinctly. And I was sitting on, we have a really nice back porch. It's all screened in. I was sitting back there with my laptop, and I was kind of just like hashing out some ideas on, I think I might have been sending an email to my husband, which I was just like, I'm brain dumping and you're going to get this in your email. And I said something about, I wish someone would have just given me like clarity. I wish someone would have just helped me get clarity earlier on. And it was this light bulb moment. And I thought, you know what? What if I could be that for other women? Now that I'm at this place where I'm so excited about entering the coaching space, creating space for women to make a transformation in their lives and in their businesses, what if I can be the person that gives them that clarity that I've been longing for the last 7-8 years, to just have someone say, like, I was just like, I wish someone would just tell me what to do, right? We go into businesses for ourselves and then we just wish someone would tell us what to do at different times. So it was kind of comical, but I remember very clearly, and it's like, I could do that. I could be a clarity coach. I could make programs for women to help them really mine into themselves and pull out the very best of what they could offer to the world. And I did that for the first few years of my business. I was focused on that clarity coaching, and then it kind of progressed. So starting with like the very, very new entrepreneurs to, just starting up, to more established. And now we're definitely working with the more established women who have been coaching for a while. But it was, that was definitely a light bulb moment. I can remember it very, very distinctly, very vividly. It was May of 2015, sitting out on the back porch. And that moment, it shifted everything. That's when I owned that I was going to be a coach. Nothing actually changed in that moment around me, but I felt it. I was like, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing.
I love it. I love it. It's so wonderful to have those moments and actually take action on it. So I love that.
Yes. What a privilege, right? That we're here talking about doing that.
Awesome. So any last minute advice you have for our listeners out there?
Yeah, I think something I struggled with and still do at different times but especially in the early phases, is I always wanted to be a little further along than I was. Just, wish I could just be over that next obstacle or to that next milestone. And it really, it put me in a place where I was delaying my fulfillment, delaying my happiness, not in all areas. I mean, I have a very blessed, happy life, but with the business, it was like, I'll feel really good about the business when I have my first 3K month. Okay, did that. Okay, when I have my first 5K month. Okay, did that. Now it's 10K. And it's like, it's easy, right? You go on social media and everyone's talking about how to make 6 figures in a month or 6 figures in 6 months, or, all these flashy numbers. And I do think, it's important to have people who are credible teaching other people how to do things. But I also think that we need to remember that right now, this moment's all we have. And the more we can find peace and trust the timing of our life, even if it feels like it's moving a little slower than we want, that it's all part of a plan that is bigger than us, that we might not quite understand, and to trust the way things are unfolding. And I've cultivated really deep spirituality in order to support me on this journey, because it's tough and not everyone is cut out for it. And that's okay. We need people doing all different things in all different ways in all different places. But you really need to fortify yourself and just have a deeper trust. Things are right as they're supposed to be, and you're right where you need to be right now, and that it's all going to work out just as it's supposed to. Maybe not how your ego mind wants it to in the next, week or month, but it's all going in the right direction in the highest way for all. And when you can really rest in that, there's just this huge pressure that lifts off when you're not, forcing yourself to be the doer of everything all the time, but rather, a conduit, a channel for what needs to flow through, and trust the timing of that.
I love when you said that, because it's so funny. I had I guess, hello, like, but moment, like a couple of months back. And I always think to myself, like, when I do something years later, and I'm like, why didn't I do this years ago? And now I just came to the realization, Candace, it just wasn't the time. You had to learn some things before you actually get to that point so that you can be able to know what to do or handle when it actually comes. Because I'm like, oh, I should have done this years ago. I would have been here right now if I would have done this years ago. But I said, no, it just wasn't the right time. So I'm happy that you brought that up. That just actually gave me confirmation to just rest in where I'm at now, keep moving along. Like you said, even if it takes, slow time, even though it's dragging, you like, oh, hurry up. But just take it one day at a time. So I'm so happy that you mentioned that. It's really awesome.
Oh, I'm glad that landed for you. Thanks.
Thank you. So where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so my online hub is CailenAscher.com. We've got lots of resources over there all about helping you create a premium group program if that's something you're curious about. And social media wise, my favorite platform is Instagram. I'm Cailen.Ascher over there. I'm always dropping little nuggets about group programs, and also in my stories, lots of pictures of my sweet girls. So if you want a little look inside my life, and I'd love to connect with you there. If you're catching this episode and enjoying it, shoot me a DM or share a screenshot in your stories and tag me. I'd love to know what you got out of it.
Awesome. We'll definitely link those up in the show notes. And you also have a podcast as well. So we'll link the podcast.
Thank you. Yes, the Soulful Business Show. And I've had that podcast for a number of years now, and it's still going along. So come and join me over there if you want to hear more.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and link that up. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Candace. I appreciate it.
Did you like today's episode? I hope you did. Join me next week for more valuable bombs, tips, and tricks on how to grow your business by taking action. If you like this podcast, subscribe and leave us a review, or take a snapshot of this episode and tag me on Instagram at csdorsey_hello.